The 2013-14 season was one of change for the Coquitlam Express. The team had missed the playoffs the previous season by 5 points in the mainland division standings.
23 seconds to go. 7-iron 5. Express 4. 7-iron with 4 unanswered goals, driving a huge stake into the heart of the Express, nailing that final playoff coffin for the Express, as the Express are now officially eliminated from the playoffs. It'll be Langley heading to the postseason.
The most notable change came in the offseason when Barry Wolff was hired as head coach and general manager, taking over from John Calvano. And as training camp went along and the season drew near, Wolff would bring in key pieces to help the team for the year to complement the key pieces he would inherit. Goaltender Gordie Dayfield came from the Minnesota Wilderness after an appearance at the RBC the previous year. Brothers Bo and Cannon Pieper came from Indiana of the USHL. Future 50-goal scorer and BCHL scoring champion Corey Mackin came from Philadelphia. Ryan Rosenthal returned to junior hockey after a stint in the NCAA with the University of Vermont. Jace Heddick was brought back for a second stint with the team from Prince George, and Joey Santucci was added from the WHL. These acquisitions will help complement a key core of second-year players in defenseman Cameron Marks and Mark Biega and forward Adam Rockwood. Once the season got going, the team's style of play made it clear that they could score goals and the offense would come from anywhere, forwards, the defense, and even shorthanded. And being a threat to score while shorthanded would become a trademark and a secret weapon of the 13-14 Express.
No mistake this time for Ryan Rosenthal. Short-handed goal number 9, and the Express have the 1-0 lead.
The team had won 3 in a row after dropping their season opener at the BCHL Showcase to post a record of 3-1 after 4 games. And after 10 games, the record was 6-2-0-2. But a 5-game losing streak had the team a game below 500 by November 1st. And by Christmas, the record was an even 500. But the highlights did include sweeping a home-and-home with the Penticton V's, which showed that this team was capable of playing with anyone in this league.
With his first goal on home ice. Closing in. Left circle to Rosenthal. Fires the shot. Scores! Rockwood will retreat behind his own net. He'll turn and look for some help. As played up the boards. Hunter hustling to it. And he'll force it outside the line. And the Express going to get a breakaway. Here's Bo Pieper in the clear. Fires the shot. He scores! Beaver goes top shelf, and the Express sweep this home and home with the Penticton Bees. They win here tonight, 2-1 at the South Okanagan Event Center. What a shot by Bo Pieper as he roofed it over the glove of Hunter Miska, just underneath the crossbar. And the Express take both games of this home and home set with the Penticton Bees, and the Express will be gleaming on the bus tonight to celebrate this big win here tonight and this big win here this weekend.
But if this team was to make the most of its talent, it needed to find a way to keep pucks out of their net and collectively tighten up defensively, because it was causing them to lose games that they should win. Goaltender Gordie Dayfield would work on his game, and the long-term benefits would pay off in spades. The defense was bolstered leading up to the trade deadline with 20-year-old additions J.D. Catronio as a free agent and Mark Whiteley from Salmon Arm. Plus, Zach Cotter returned earlier in the season from the WHL for a second tour of duty with the Express, which would add a dynamic offensive element to the back end when paired with Mark Biega. Plus, the forward group was given a touch of sandpaper and character with the addition of Brendan Lamont from Penticton. These moves were made in the days leading up to the January 10th trade deadline, and then it was up to the group in the room going forward. The roller coaster ride would continue with a 5-game winning streak shortly following the deadline and a 5-game winless streak immediately after. The season would finish with a 10-5 victory for the Express in Chilliwack, The regular season record was just a game above 500 at 27, 26, 2, and 3, good for third in the mainland division. That Express team would finish with 226 goals for, which was tops in the BCHL, but the team also gave up the same amount of goals, which was the most of any team that would qualify for the Fred Page Cup playoffs. Of the 226 goals scored, 19 came shorthanded, which was a new franchise record. Ryan Rosenthal and Cannon Pieper each eclipsed the 30-goal mark, while Bo Pieper, Corey Mackin, and Joey Santucci all had 20+. And defenseman Mark Biega set a franchise record for a defenseman with 17.
Moves in, fires the shot, scores! There's number 17 for Mark Biega. Zach Carter picks up the puck as the Express defenseman sets a new team record for most goals in a season by a defenseman.
Meanwhile, Adam Rockwood's 61 assists led the BCHL, and his 74 points was fourth overall in BCHL scoring. All that would set up their first-round opponent, the Prince George Spruce Kings. In the regular season, the Express had just one win in 9 head-to-head meetings with Prince George, and the Spruce Kings, with their second-place finish, were 10 points clear in the standings. But the season series was closer than the win-loss record would indicate, with 4 of the 9 games decided by a single goal, and 1 game finishing in a tie. The Express would give themselves a chance in this series, so long as they kept themselves in the games and got some goaltending. In order to advance, the Express would need at least 1 win up north, something they didn't accomplish during the regular season. The first 2 games were tight. Game 1 saw Prince George over a 2-0 first-period lead, only to see the Express staying within striking distance on a goal from Mark Biega. The 2-1 Prince George lead stood into the third period, where Mitch Eden added his second of the night. Joey Santucci cut the Express deficit to 1 with 4 minutes to play, but Prince George hung on to take the opener. The script for the first period flipped in Game 2, with the Express getting off to a 2-0 lead on goals from Cannon Pieper and Mark Biega's second of the series. Brogan O'Brien pulled Prince George even in the second. In the third, the Coquitlam kid Adam Rockwood began his string of clutch goals, breaking the deadlock. And at the other end, Gordy Dayfield slammed the door shut and letting his teammates and the rest of the BCHL know that this was the type of goaltending Coquitlam was getting this spring. He would make 14 saves in the third period and 39 in total as the Express were coming home with a split. It was more of the same from Dayfield as the series shifted back to Coquitlam.
First shot, that one wide of the goal. Now Sinner down in front. Back to Eden. Closing in, fires. Shot kicked out by Dayfield. Rebound in front. It's clear to the line. Cody Boyd. Up the left wing is passed beyond the reach of heading. Now a long shot kicked out by Dayfield. Landry with a shot kicked out by Dayfield as well. Couple of good chances for the Spruce Kings there.
An unlikely source broke the ice early in the second period.
Boyd through center. Gains the Prince George line on the right wing. Boyd, backhand shot, scores! Cody Boyd does it all himself.
From there, let Dayfield shine.
Now puck top to the Express zone. As in comes Jake LeBrun. Spins, cuts in, fires. Dayfield the save. Puck is loose in front. Cleared away to the boards by Rockwood. Back to Eden, one-timer. Kicked up by Dayfield. The rebound's top to the Lords. And Pacheco, wide hour, one-timer. Dayfield the save. And he's lost the rebound to the corner.
The goal stood up until late in the third period when the Express picked up some insurance.
Now for O'Brien, he lost the puck. And Cotronio will start back with the Express. Nice lead feed for Bo Pieper. Race after in the Prince George zone. Bo cuts in. Back in. He scores! Bo Pieper gives the Express a much-needed insurance with 2:23 remaining in the third period.
By Game 3, the teams had begun to develop their dislike for one another.
Now Staley, snapshot through a screen, knocked down in front, Dayfield down, and he's got the puck with 14.9 to go. And then some pushing and shoving.
Dayfield pushing and shoving with, I think, Pacheco down low.
Then Hodder and Staley getting their sticks up a little. And then Bo was given a bit of a jab, lining up on the face-off, and here we go. Everyone involved on the ice. Lamont throwing some jabs on Balloch.
Oswald just speared Bo Pieper.
And Bo is still shaken up, and obviously Cannon, Bo's brother, is pretty upset with Jaswal, the AP rookie defenseman.
But when the dust settled, Gordie Dayfield posted the shutout with 24 saves, and the Express had the lead in the series. Game 4 was the most offensive of any in this series.
Cody Boyd, 2-on-2 with Rosenthal short-handed. Boyd gains the line, trying to feed it in front and score! Now LeBrun with it, has Rye ahead of the play, and he gets the pass. Rye in behind the Express defense, fires the shot, he scores! Justin Rye, now at the line, Diego sends it down low, back in, swings it in front, Hunter scores! Rosenthal dancing in on the right wing with Cannon. Rosenthal stops, cuts in the slot, backhand shot, that's blocked. Now he chops it on goal, and Murray makes a save, and Rosenthal scores on the rebound! His second short-handed goal of the night, and the Express lead 3-1. Jeremiah Litke, the Cary in the Express zone. Litke to Rye, in the slot, wrist shot in front, score! His third pass, Biega, and down the ice. Here's Litke the other way, in the clear, back in, and a pad save by Gordie Dayfield. Big stop there, now center, Rye scores! His second of the night, Justin Rye ties the game 3-3.
And the second period witnessed some last-second dramatics.
Heading in pain, show adjusting on the draw, Express control. Boyd with the shot, that hit a leg. Now Santucci swings it in front, sure! With 1 second to go! Chase Heading tips it in!
Midway through the third, the Express secret weapon sealed a stranglehold on the series lead.
Murray out of his goal, sweeping it around the boards. Gave it away to Santucci, he scores! Third short-handed goal for the Express tonight. Battle for it along the boards, and here's Rosenthal with an empty net. Hat-trick!
6-3 would be the final in Game 4, opening a 3-1 series lead for the Express. Trying to stave off elimination, the Spruce Kings came out peppering to start, but the Express came out of the opening period with a 1-0 lead with a goal from Corey Mackin and 14 saves from Dayfield. With 3 minutes left in the second, Prince George tied the game at 1 with the Express penalized for too many men. The Express just needed to win a period to advance. They came out of it tied with the teams trading goals, and Dayfield again shining with 14 saves on 15 Prince George shots. With the series hanging in the balance in overtime, both teams took their cracks, but nothing was decided after 20 minutes. Early in the second overtime, Jeremiah Litke kept Prince George alive, bagging the winner on a night when they needed all 56 shots they fired to send the series back to Coquitlam. The Express had no interest in making the long trip back to Prince George for Game 7. Their best chance to take this series was back on home ice. Justin Rye opened the scoring for Prince George midway through the first. 4 minutes later, Ryan Rosenthal scored his 4th of the series, and it was tied at 1 after 20 minutes. Entering Game 6, the Express still hadn't scored on the power play. They picked a fine time to get their first of the series in the second period.
Marks from the middle, wrist shot, wide of the goal, rebound. At the side, they score! Paul Bieber jams it home for the first power play goal for the Express in this series, and they lead game number 6, 2-1.
Gordie Dayfield took care of things the rest of the way.
To Pacheco, pressure by Santucci, cross ice speed, Eden slap shot, and a glove save by Gordie Dayfield. Now Eden. Across the wide hour, loads of a shot, Dayfield the save, rebound in front, and a pass save off of Justin Rye. Penner, wrist shot deflected, and a pass save by Dayfield off of Chad Staley. Another big stop there. Here's Eden, turning on the boards, side of the net, Staley in front, Litke trying to jam it, Dayfield down. Where's the puck? It's in. The red light is on. No signal yet from the referee. Prince George is celebrating as if they scored. Now, how did that puck end up in the net? That's the biggest question right now. And the series may be hanging in the balance at the moment. Prince George did what they had to do, just sell it.
and celebrate as if they scored to try and influence the call in their direction. And no goal! No goal! Here's Penner's shot! That hit a leg in front. Even with a shot! And a glove save by Gordy Dayfield! Puck played up, and Rosenthal to Lamont, who will skate to the center. Lamont to the line, backhand, shot it wide. 15 seconds to go. Lockwood trying to center it. That's blocked. Puck played out through center. Viega shoots. That bounces wide. Time is going to run out. He finished with 31 saves. The Express are off to the second round in 6 games. The Coquitlam Express have advanced to the Mainland Division Final with a 2-1 win in Game 6 here tonight. And they will meet in Langley for the Mainland Division Final starting on Friday. What a series between these two teams. The Mainland Division Final saw the Express take on the top team of the BCHL in the regular season in the Langley Rivermen. Like the Express, Langley advanced to round 2 with a 6-game first-round series win, taking out the Surrey Eagles. Coquitlam had confidence going into the series. They split the 8-game series between the teams and had picked up points in 5 of the 8 head-to-head meetings. Diego with room, takes the shot, possibly the save, takes the peek, still loose. They score!
Viega!
His third of the night, and the Express wins 6-5.
He took the initial shot, and Crossway had it, but didn't realize he was looking all around for it, and then it falls loose.
Building availability at the Langley Event Center moved the series back to the George Preston Rec Center for games 1 and 2, where the Express historically have had plenty of success in the postseason. It took 6 minutes for the visitors to strike first blood in the series. Now Victor Dombrowski will start up for Langley. Give it a bump there by Brendan Lamont. And he'll carry back in the Langley zone. He'll dish it off. Cannon in on goal. Backhand. He scores! Cannon Peeper slides it through the legs of Crossway, and the Express takes a 1-0 lead here in Game 1.
He cuts from his forehand to his backhand.
AP and future Express Cam Birch tied the game a few minutes later, but Gordy Dayfield picked up right where he left off in the Prince George series in the first period with 18 saves and 12 more in the second period. Ryan Rosenthal, 3 minutes into the third, broke the deadlock. Zach Hodder through center, firing it into the Langley zone. Rosenthal bumping along the boards. Puck comes in the middle forward with Tala, but he gave it away to Corey Mackin. At the right circle, feeds it in front. Rosenthal scores! Ryan Rosenthal, the Express captain, gives them their second lead of the night. It's 2-1. That set the stage for hard-nosed forward Cody Boyd for a memorable Friday night in Langley. Puck along the boards, the Express zone. Horney can't keep it in the zone. And here's Cody Boyd picking up a loose puck. Down the left wing, feeds it in front, score! It bounced in off of Horney, and the Express have a 3-1 lead.
Horney tried to clear it away, and it goes off his stick and in.
Exactly halfway through the period, Langley cut the Express lead to 3-2. In the dying moments, Boyd struck again. Now to Vela. He'll tip it out through center for Evan Anderson. He'll spin and carry it in the Express zone, but he's checked by Jace Hennig. And they'll flip it to the Langley line. Here's Santucci with Boyd going to the goal. There's the pass. Boyd scores! His second of the period. And the Express have restored their 2-goal lead. It's 4-2 with 2:07 to go. A pair from Cody Boyd and 36 saves from Dayfield, and the Express snagged home ice. In Game 2, the Express came out greedy, looking to take a 2-game lead to Coquitlam. Hodder at the left point in the Langley zone. Express goes in. Viega back to Hodder in the high slot. Doesn't shoot it. Feeds it down to Rosenthal. Back to Hodder. One-timer scores! There's the second power play goal of the playoffs for the Express. Hodder with the bomb. Express lead 1-0. Final minute of this first period. Express leading 1-0 here in Game 2. Bo Peeper racing after the puck in the Langley zone. Bo into the slot. One-timer scores! Ryan Rosenthal. And the Express lead 2-0. But again, Bo Peeper's been laid out as he set up Rosenthal. Now Bo is down on the ice.
in the circle in the Langley zone.
A 2-goal lead in Gordie Dayfield in the cage seemed to be a daunting task for the BCHL's top team, and that proved to be true. He had another MVP outing in Game 2, making 36 saves, including 28 in the final 2 periods.
Now Anderson from the corner, feed the high slot, Bressman wrist shot, and a great glove save by Gordie Dayfield, his best of the night.
The lone blemish was a Kevin Killistoff goal with 6 minutes left in the 3rd period, but the Express were coming home with a 2-0 lead in the series. Game 3 back in Coquitlam didn't go the way the hosts expected it. In fact, Langley did something few teams did in the spring of 2014, and that's get to Gordie Dayfield. They jumped out to a 3-0 first period lead before the game was 12 minutes old. Game 3 finished 5-0 with Brock Crosthwaite making 28 saves for the shutout. It would be the last time the Express would lose at home during the 2014 playoffs. Game 4 was paramount in the importance of the series. The Express got off on the right foot thanks to their 4th line.
As we hit the 7-minute mark in the scoreless first period here in Game 4. Lead feed to Josh Smith at center. Here's Cressy on the left wing with Lang going to the goal. Cressy fires his shot to push and scores! Derksen Cressy gives the Express the 1-0 lead here in Game 4.
A pair of Langley goals gave the Rivermen a 2-1 lead heading to the 2nd period, but the BCHL's defenseman goal leader swung the pendulum back in the Express favor early in the frame.
Boyd from the right circle, feed the line to Hodder. Down deep, Biega pitching in, Russia scores! Mark Biega snaps it home and the Express have tied it at 2.
Like Game 4 in the Prince George series, the teams were just trading blows back and forth. Mitch McLean put Langley back in the lead 5 minutes later, only to see the Express captain punch back.
And Biega will backhand it off the glass, and Bo race after it in on the right wing. Bo stops, feeds, Rosenthal shot, scores! Ryan Rosenthal, we are tied again. It's 3-3.
Where the 2014 Express really made their hay in the postseason was in the 3rd period of games. Game 4 was no different.
Biega, lead feed, and Hodder will trim in the Langley zone for Hodder on the left wing. Wrist shot off the glove, in a Rosenthal shot, stop, rebound! Cannon scores! To the right circle to Rockwood is now the Express set up with a minute remaining in the power play. Back to the line, Biega, snapshot, scores!
For a 2nd straight series, the Express had opened up a 3-1 series lead after the 5-3 win. Back at the Langley Event Center, the Rivermen played with the heart of a regular season champion. They opened up a 2-1 lead after 1 period and led 4-1 after 40 minutes. They would cruise to a 5-2 win thanks to a 51-shot effort to stay alive. So for a 2nd straight series, the Express had a chance to advance on home ice in a Game 6. The captain's 5th of the series got things started right.
Matthew trying to leave it behind the goal. Now Rockwood comes in and takes it. Centers on it for Rosenthal, scores! When in doubt, you lean on your captain.
Mitch McLean tied the game a minute later. Then one of the Express deadline acquisitions restored the lead.
Tied up in skates with less than 4 minutes remaining in the first. Cannon to the line to Marks. Snapshot to fight, and scores! Brendan Lamarck's first goal of the playoffs restored the Express lead. It's 2-1.
By the 6-minute mark of the 2nd period, Langley had the lead on a pair of goals. And what did I say earlier about the Express making hay in the 2014 postseason in the 3rd period?
Fired up for Cotroneo. Now to Lamont. Now for heading in the Langley zone with Boyd. Boyd, he's in front. Score! Chase Henning going to the goal. Cannon from behind the net, leaving it for Bo in the corner. Back to the right point. Marks. Red shot, knocked down in front. Score!
third period. Express lead Langley 4-3 here in game 6.
Mackin off the draw with a shot. He slid it low and wide. He's been dangerous. Mackin to the corner to Rockwood. Hunters in front.
Parra with 2:29 to go.
The Express were through to the third round after eliminating the BCHL's regular season champions in 6.
It's not going to matter. The Express are heading to the third round of the BCHL playoffs.
Round 3 was unique with 3 teams left competing for the Fred Page Cup. The Mainland Division Express, the Island Division champion Victoria Grizzlies, and the interior winners the Vernon Vipers. Instead of a traditional series, the 3 teams would play a round robin with each team facing each other once at home and away. They would play until 2 teams had accumulated enough points to where the third team wouldn't be able to catch the top 2 and be eliminated. Victoria hosted Vernon in the first game, the Vipers coming off a dramatic 7-game overtime win over Penticton, scored 5 times in the second period to blow the game open and eventually hold on for a 5-4 win. The Express made the trek up to Vernon 2 nights later for the next game. Once again, Vernon's offense was firing on all cylinders.
Here's Gunther. Wrist shot. Scores! Here's Danks in the Express zone with McNicholas. There's the pass. McNicholas scores! Mulcahy in the Express zone. Swings it in front. Dayfield down. Scramble. Score! 3-on-1. Danks with Tomlin and Renz. There's the pass. Hoplin centers. Score!
Vernon had started round 3 with a pair of wins for a 2-0 record and 4 points. The Express and Victoria were on deck next in Coquitlam, with both teams sitting at 0-1. The teams traded goals in the first and second periods, with the score 1-1 after 1 and 2-2 after 2. Ryan Rosenthal potted both Express goals. Once again, the game was blown open in the third period.
Bo will start out with Rasmus going to the goal, 2-on-1. Bo fires, scores! Lifting it up high, knocked down to the blue line, but Cannon forced outside the line and will lead the rush. He has Bo with him. Cannon to Bo, but he can't get the shot away. Now Sidney pass, score! Cross-ice speed to Rosenthal, who takes it off the boards. Now at the left point, Rosenthal, backdoor pass, tipped away from Rockwood. Now behind the net, he centers and they score! Rockwood turning, now at the line. They descended down the board to Mackin. Back to Rockwood in the slot. Looks, feeds it across. Hunter Thompson on goal, he scores!
Potter makes it a 6-2 Express game.
Well, nice control by Rockwood in the offensive zone.
6-3 Express is how the game finished. They had evened their record to 1-1, picking up their first 2 points. Victoria was now in an 0-2 hole and in danger of elimination as the rematch with the Express took place in Victoria, with the visitors looking to set up a Fred Page Cup final meeting with Vernon if they were victorious. This meeting in the provincial capital would be memorable. It was 2-1 Victoria after the first, with Mark Biega striking for the Express and goals from 2/3 of the Fitzgerald triplets, Miles and Jerry. Ken and Pieper tied the game at 2 for the Express with just under 3 minutes left in the second period. The third Fitzgerald triplet, Leo, had given Victoria a 3-2 third period lead. Victoria desperately needed the win to keep round 3 alive. Those hopes took a blow in the final minute when Ryan Rosenthal sent the game to overtime. This game would settle into a marathon session. Gordy Dayfield turned away 13 Victoria shots in the first overtime, while Alec Dillon stared down 6 Express shots in the first overtime. including a cannon peeper penalty shot. Double overtime saw Dayfield shut the door on 14 victorious shots. The Express mustered just 6, and a third overtime was required. The visitors ramped up their pressure in the third overtime with a trip to the league final at stake. Finally, at 6:51 of the third overtime, Mark Biega broke through to give the Express a 4-3 win and a trip to the Fred Page Cup final against Vernon in the longest game in Express history. The Grizzlies were eliminated after going 0-3 with 0 points and just 1 game left to be played if needed. But at this point, both the Express and Vipers had a pair of wins and 4 points total. It was back to the interior for the start of the series. Vernon was not only playing for a Fred Page Cup, but they were also playing to come through the front door of the RBC Cup they were hosting in a few weeks' time. This final was the ultimate seesaw series. Vernon picked up right where they left off in the last round by lighting the lamp in bunches despite 10 days off. Brendan Persley, Brett Mulcahy, and D'Amico Hanoun gave Vernon a 3-0 lead 15 minutes into Game 1. The Express regrouped in the second period and did their part to claw back into the game on 2 goals from Bo Pieper and Corey Mackin shorthanded, and it was all square heading to the third period with the game tied at 3. Mackin's goal was the 5th shorthanded goal for the Express in the playoffs and 24th of the year if you include the regular season. Mason Blacklock gave Vernon a 4-3 lead in the third period. That would be the lone puck to get past Gordie Dayfield in the final 40 minutes, making 22 saves in that time. His goaltending gave his team a chance to claw back in the game, and his teammates responded with 3 third-period goals in a span of exactly 5 minutes to turn the game, and the Express rallied to take Game 1 6-4. The start to Game 2 was similar, with Vernon jumping out to a 2-0 first-period lead in the first 6 minutes on goals from Dexter Danks and Brendan Persley. Cannon Peeper cut the lead to 2-1 after 1. Danks put Vernon into their second 2-goal lead of the night by the time the third period began. But at this point, a 2-goal deficit on the road in the third period was no big deal for the 2014 Express. Corey Mackin and Adam Rockwood teamed up to help set one another up for a pair of third-period goals. All the while, Gordie Dayfield was standing on his head with 22 saves in the third period alone, turning aside kitchens, sinks, and toilets Vernon was tossing his way, and the game was off to overtime. Overtime didn't last long, as just over 2 minutes in, Dayfield helped his own cause, setting up Adam Rockwood for the overtime winner, and the Express had stolen the first 2 games of the final. Vernon wasn't discouraged to get rolling in Game 3. Dylan Chanter opened the scoring for the Vipers for a third straight game in the series, but Dayfield again was dialed in, turning away 16 first-period shots.
Back to the way they cough it up. Here's Barrowin again. Deeks, and Dayfield got the right pad out and made the save. Trying to play past Coughlin, can't do so. He'll take it behind the Express net, center down in front. Here's a chance to the side. Dayfield down. And he finds a way to keep it out. Coughlin cutting wide. Down to behind the Express goal. Coughlin still with it. In the slot. Waits, fires. And that hit Danks in front of the goal. Brian with his shot. I think Dayfield fought it off.
Liam Coughlin, just past the 1-minute mark of the second period, gave Vernon their third 2-goal lead of the series. And it was at this point that Gordie Dayfield put up the brick wall again.
Now bouncing puck. Bounces on goal, and Dayfield swatted to the side. Burns fires, and Dayfield kicked that out with the left leg. And he'll slide it down into the corner. McNicholas centers Coughlin with a chance, and Dayfield to save. Express are really weathering a Vernon push right now.
Halfway through the period, the Express were given a glimpse of hope.
Express would love to get Santucci out there to complete this line change. Now Biega with a long shot, bounced it wide of the goal. Rockwood batting along the boards, had it poked off his stick. Potter at the line, closing in. Wrist shot, kicks out, rebound! Score! Brendan Lamont banging home the rebound.
It was 2-1 Vernon heading to the third period. Gordie Dayfield had made 26 saves to this point, and the Express fired just 12 shots at the other end. Finally, by the time the third period rolled around, the Express were able to tilt the ice, but were they able to get the equalizer? Cue Ryan Rosenthal once again.
Now Persley. Lost it to Rockwood, will play it back for Biega. 1:15 remaining in the third period of Game 3. Rosenthal cutting wide. Serving a shot, scores! Ryan
from a sharp angle. Feeds Smith to the far side. Smith didn't look like he moved.
More late heroics from the Express captain, and Game 3 was off to overtime. The Express were playing past regulation for the third time in the last 4 games. The mental burden of letting another 2-goal lead for Vernon slip away was too much to overcome, and overtime felt more like a when than an if the Express were going to win.
Diego gains the Vernon line, trying to split the D, can't do so. Rosenthal follows up, side of the net, backing in front,
Second of the night, Rosenthal ties it, he wins it, the Express lead the Fred Payne Cup final 3-0.
What a battle back, and what a crush. Started out by Biega.
Suddenly, the Express were 1 win away from sweeping the Vernon Vipers for a Fred Page Cup. A Tuesday night in Coquitlam, and the Express were playing to win a championship. Would they be nervous, or would they be on their toes going for it from the get-go?
Smith out of his goal. He handled the clearing attempt, but Wilson will fire in the middle, but he gave it away to Bo Pieper. Now to Cannon. 2 seconds, one-timer, that's one. Now he fires the shot, and a glove save by Smith. And they'll hold on to it for a whistle. First good scoring chance for the Express. Out comes free to Biega. Up to Zach Connor. Has Mackin ahead of the plane to get to the puck. Corey Mackin on a breakaway. Stopped by Austin Smith. Big save for Smith there. He's had a couple of good ones early in this game.
The answer was they were on their toes.
Heading in there as well, trying to help out. Now puck centered out in front. Comes to Marshall. Kicks it towards the goal. Smith is down to his point. Campbell for it. Number 2 is like they score!
For the first time in the series, the Express had scored first, and they kept the foot on the gas.
One of the Express lead here in Game 4. Rockwood knocking down a pass, bring it up for Rosenthal. Rosenthal fires! And I think Smith may have got a shoulder on it and steered it out of play. Now puck flipped down to the Express zone, where Hodder will go back to the puck, being lost by Persley. Tipped up the wall, but gave it away. Mulcahy plays it in front, tipped on goal, and a pass saved by Dayfield. Now
this back-and-forth series swung Vernon's way early in the second.
Now Bryant sending it around for Brendan Persley. Now to Colton Sparrow, weaving his way through center. He'll gain the Express line. Fires a snapshot off a leg and wide. Now Mulcahy plays it in front, bouncing puck, they score! Sparrow was going to the net, getting it bounced off him and in, and this game is tied at 1. Now Wilson has turned it the other way. Lead feed beyond the reach of Colton Sparrow. And Dayfield will touch the puck and wave off the icing, and he gave it away to Brendan Persley. Into the middle, Hanun with a shot, glove by Gordy Dayfield, as he bails himself out with a glove save.
Then the Pieper brothers did their part to push back for the Express, who were determined to not fall behind by 2 goals for a 4th straight game in the series.
Whiteley, Joey Santucci, now to Cannon, the Vernon zone. The ball fires a rolling puck and a glove save by Austin Smith. Giving it credit to Colton Sparrow, who was in front of the net. So Sparrow from Mulcahy and Persley. As Cannon scores! Cannon to turn and fired. He's up on the short side, and the Express have restored their lead. It's 2-1.
Well, he stuck it under the arm.
Vernon's desperation to send this series back to Vernon ramped up as the second period carried on.
Here's Brendan Persley cutting in the middle. Wrist up, scores! Brendan Persley snapping a pass to glove of Gordy Dayfield, and it's a 2-2 tie. Hanun, backdoor pass, Sparrow with a chance, and a nice pad save by Dayfield. Now to Brendan Persley, to Hanun, trying to chip it in. Hanun right into traffic, comes in front with a chance. Dayfield makes the save, and he holds on to it for a whistle. Dylan Chanter, right wing feed, and Coughlin's back into the Express zone. Now to Danks on the right wing from the power to the goal. Puck rolled up his stick. Now he fires, and a pass save by Gordy Dayfield. Now Vernon comes out of the puck, centers out in front. Dayfield down, they score! Brendan Persley with 1:03 remaining in the second period. Vernon has their first lead at 3-2.
The Vipers' pressure extended into the third period, and at this point for the Express, their success down a goal in the third period had them fully prepared for this moment.
Cross ice in the right wing for Bo Pieper. Bo tried his shot, that's blocked by Ryan Renz. Now played around the boards. Cannon turns the fire to the shot, kicks it. Rebound, they score!
Goalkeeper, 3-3. Picks up the rebound off the original shot by Cannon. And goes short side on Smith and ties this one up at 3.
Well, the third period has been their best period.
Now everyone on both sides of the ice for the Express did their part to up their effort level to ensure a championship celebration on this night.
Here's Riley Gunther wheeling into the Express zone. Cutting wide on the one. Gunther in front. Balloch with a chance, and Danefield makes the save. He took a peek, but he's got the puck.
He wasn't quite sure where it was.
Now at the line, Rosenthal in front, and it bounced off the stick of Mackin, who was alone. Now Rockwood from the right boards in the Vernon zone. Falls and gets back up. Now to Mackin. To Rosenthal, his shot, off-speed shot, and a kick save by Austin Smith. Dylan Chandler back to the puck. Starting out from behind his own goal. Gave it away. Rockwood in alone. Rockwood centers. And Mackin couldn't get a piece of that pass. Express had a 2-on-0 alone in front and didn't get a shot away. Now to Cody Boyd with heading. Boyd a one-handed in and racing after in the Vernon zone. Boyd centers it. Heading in front. They jam. And it's cleared away from the goal crease. Now here comes Rosenthal with Rockwood and Hodder. Rosenthal leaves it. Hodder couldn't get a pass from Rockwood as it bounced over his stick. Rosenthal will tip it to Biega, now to Mackin. He lost the handle of the puck. Here's Dexter Danks with Coughlin. There's a pass out of the reach of Coughlin, but there's a penalty on the play. At the line, Gunther sending it down deep. Penalty coming up to the Express. Played at the boards. Wilson, wrist up, blocked by Biega, and the play is blown down with 6:18 to go.
Mark Biega in the box of a tie game late in the third, trying to win the cup. That wasn't going to change the focus of this group, who had the green light to go down a man.
Cody Boyd short-handed. Here's Rosenthal in the Vernon zone. All the way, Rosenthal chops it on goal, and a pass play by Smith. Didn't get a lot on it. Sparrow feeds it in front. It went through the crease. Minute remaining in the penalty. 5:15 remaining in the third in a 3-3 tie. Lamont, he'll backhand the puck down the ice into the Vernon zone. Riley Gunther reeling back for the Vernon Vipers. Gave it away. Rockwood with the breakaway. Rockwood scores! A short-handed goal for Adam Rockwood. 4-3 Express with 4:54 to go.
Rockwood steals the puck in the offensive zone. 5 guys chasing him. You can see him, Vernon giving it everything they got to try and catch him. Rockwood goes to his forehand, hits the post, bounces, hits Smith, and then goes in.
The Coquitlam kid, Adam Rockwood, with the 6th shorthanded goal for the Express in the playoffs and his 3rd of the series, and the Express pushed for insurance.
Rosenthal with the breakaway. Rosenthal stopped by Smith, and he tried to go 5 holes.
That would have salted it away with just 2:19 to go.
Time was running out for Vernon, who made one last push.
Brendan Pursley, who has 2 goals tonight. Goaltender to the bench. Final minute of the third. Finally pass! And Danefield got a pad down and made the save. Ryan Renz down the corner. Centering pass. Danefield down. And he gets the whistle with 52.9 seconds to go.
Puts the big pad down against the post and holds it out.
You wouldn't think this could get any more dramatic, but somehow it did.
Face off to the left of the Express goal. Now Rosenthal against Mulcahy on this face off. Vipers control. Sparrow with a shot, and Danefield got a pad on that to make the save. Now at the line, Sparrow slap shot blocked by Rosenthal. Now it comes to Chancer. 10 seconds to go. In front, it winds it behind the net. Battle forward in the corner. Comes in front. Sparrow with a chance, and a great save by Danefield. They score.
No, not give it a hand.
It was dropped in by hand. No goal. No goal. Vernon dropped it in with 4/10 of a second left. but Parra was alone in front. And Vernon was not close to tying it. They're going to talk it over. My goodness,
The referee was right there.
no goal. They will drop the puck outside the line, and the Express will win the Fred Page Cup for a second time in franchise history.
All that was left to do was exhale, then celebrate.
The crowd comes to their feet. They will drop the puck to make it official. The Express are 2014 Fred Page Cup PGA World Champions. Lord, can you believe it?
Well, it's been a fabulous playoff run. And I was going to say, how apropos, the winning goal,
I know.
short-handed.
I know. I thought of that right away as soon as Rockwood scored it. This team has been so good short-handed all season long.
And a short-handed goal wins them the Fred Page Cup. Everyone's still here.
This group that was a game above 500 in the regular season had just gone 14-5 in the playoffs, en route to winning the second Fred Page Cup in Express history and the first for the team based in Coquitlam. Along the way, they won the Mainland Division with 6-game series wins over both Prince George and Langley, went 2-1 in the 3-team round robin, then came from behind in every single game to sweep the RBC Cup hosts, the Vernon Vipers. This team made the most of its talent in this run. Gordie Dayfield was stellar in the playoffs, shaving off nearly a goal per game off his goals against average from the regular season. His save percentage went from .888 in the regular season to .922 in the playoffs. Ryan Rosenthal led all scorers with 14 goals and always seemed to have a big one when his team needed it, and there was plenty of support to go around combined with a good mix of character players.
And now the moment this team has been waiting for 8 years. Here comes Ryan Rosenthal to accept the Fred Page Cup.
He wants to take it from Griswold so bad.
There it is.
There we go.
Ryan Rosenthal lifting the Fred Page Cup and giving it a kiss. As your Fred Page Cup champions begin to celebrate, and Zach Hodder is second to get it, followed by Gordie Dayfield, I believe. Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Up next was the Western Canada Cup in Dauphin, Manitoba, to try and secure one of 2 spots available at the RBC Cup in Vernon. They would see the host Dauphin Kings, the Alberta champion St. Albert Saints, the Saskatchewan champion Yorkton Terriers, and the Manitoba champion Winnipeg South Blues. The objective was to finish in a top 2 spot for 2 opportunities to play for one of 2 spots available at the RBC. Things started well with wins in the first 2 games over St. Albert and Winnipeg to extend the winning streak to 8. But in the second game, Ryan Rosenthal got hurt with a hip flexor, and the magic seemed to end. They finished the round robin with losses to Yorkton and Dauphin. Rosenthal did return after missing 1 game, but it wasn't enough. Consolation for Rosenthal was being named the tournament's top forward. Once tiebreakers kicked in, the Express fell to 3rd with their 2-2 record. They played the 4th place team, the St. Albert Saints, in an elimination game for a chance to play for the second spot at the RBC. The Express had built up a 2-0 lead 5 minutes into the game, but it wasn't enough. St. Albert came back and won 5-2. Yorkton won the Western Canada Cup and eventually took the RBC Cup in Vernon in overtime. For the 2014 Express, the run will always be looked back upon fondly. And thank you for following along as I tell you their journey.